join us.
Hey Star Wars fans and action figure collectors, welcome to the first review for 2025. It's just a little bit of a slow start, waiting for some things to come in, waiting for some new arrivals for the new year. Just ticking off a couple of boxes. And got the Mandalorian Imperial base for you today. It is VC312A. I don't have any background information as to why it's 312A. I tend not to pay attention to too much of that kind of trivia these days. It's just another figure for me. That's all I care about. I've never been a big fuss about the numbers, but for those who are, is 312A. I assume it's because there's a 312 somewhere. I don't know. I should probably research it, but I just don't care enough. I care about the figure that's in the package. So very slightly different Mandalorian again. This time with a jetpack, which, I think in terms of the fact that they've done the sculpt for that jetpack, I think we dare say we're going to get the Imperial Commando Mandalorians. So, they're coming. It's just a matter of when and where and how. It looks like a decent figure. Let's bust it open and take a look. All right, here is the Mandalorian out of the packaging, of course, Imperial base, based on the last couple of episodes of the Mandalorian season 3. For the most part, the Mandalorian figure is pretty much exactly the same as the last couple of iterations. There's just the odd different sort of costume changes that he's gone through over the years. Slight tweaks in articulation. This one's been given the barbell joints in the hips, which is much nicer than the ball hinges. And he's got the rocker joints in the feet, as opposed to not having them. I'm just going to try and get some focus. There we go. And I've kind of decided we're going to start off with the peg test. Hopefully for most reviews, if I remember, just to get these figures on a stand nice and early, so they're not going to fall over. I've had a lot of reviews where I halfway through recording and the figures just like to topple over. So I thought, let's get them on a stand. So I've got here the KR Kessel Run action figure stands and Kessel Run Hair Collectibles. You can get them at kesselrunhair.com for those wondering. We've got 3 different peg sizes here. And he doesn't. They're not too bad. No, that's all right. I just had it at a wrong angle. So these stands have got 3 different options for peg sizes. We've got a bigger one, a medium-sized one where the foot is on now for vintage collection figures, and a very small one in the middle there for some of those more dainty figures. And if you look as well, we have this little tab which you can twist and pop out, pop it in the pegs there, and you've got a little arch support for bigger feet. So works pretty well. It's something we're pretty proud of. And stands up very nicely in multiple scales of action figures. Accessory wise, it does come with his blaster, this time not getting any extra paint detail. So it's just sort of standard silver. So I may swap that out. I reckon I've got some spares that have had a little bit more paint. But then again, the handle is going to be in his hand, so you're not going to see it. So let's just put it straight in there, because it's the only weapon he comes with this time. At this point of time, he has parted ways with the Darksaber. He's given that to Bo-Katan. He has lost the spear, the Beskar spear that he won in Season 2. That has been forged into Grogu's little chainmail outfit. And of course his longer rifle was left on the Razor Crest when that got destroyed. But here's the other part. This is the sort of the Imperial jetpack for Moff Gideon's sort of own sort of Mandalorian troops. You have no doubt that these will come out in vintage collection at some point in 2025, I'm sure of it. Some nice holes in the bottom there so you can get some of those flame effects, which is cool. And it's got the peg in the back. I wonder if that sits better on that side, or he generally wears it on the right there. It looks like that's the way it's cut. Yeah, it seems to be that's the way it wants to sit properly. Hard to tell. It does want to sort of go either way, but we'll go there. Get that jetpack on there. It pegs in nicely. There's a little bit of room there for the belt, the strap for his old rifle. And sort of sit down over the shoulder a bit. That looks pretty good. This would be a perfect one for the Moff Gideon's hallway diorama scene. I haven't picked that set up yet. I will at some stage, but I'm not in any rush for that one. But overall, I think the sculpts on the vintage collection ones have been pretty solid throughout. There hasn't been too much to be upset about. They finally nailed it with the Black Series. A lot of people seem to think that they need to redo the helmet. I think it looks alright in this scale. I think it looks fine. You know, the minor tweaks with the articulation, like with the hips and the ankles, that's always improvements, which is good. The paint job's nice and clean on this guy. Looks good. I'm just trying to look over Mandalorians to sort of see how many we've got. And from what I can see, this is at least the 7th. We've got Season 1, we've got Season 1 with the Blurg, we've got the Muldo Crease sort of snow one, we've got the unhelmeted battle damage one, we have a Season 2, we've got the Season 3 soft goods, another Season 3 soft goods cape with the N1. Yeah, so we're looking at probably 8 or 9 potentially different releases of the Mandalorian. And of course, if you're counting retro and the carbonized ones, we're pretty much in double figures with the Mandalorian. But Hasbro call him an evergreen figure. It's one of those characters that they're always going to have one out of, like Darth Vader, and they'll always sell. Yeah, it took me a little bit longer to get this one, but I've got him now, and that's all that matters. Yeah, articulation-wise, it's got the ball joint in the head and the top of the neck. Ball hinges in the shoulders. A little bit of restriction there with the armor plate. Maybe it's just this one, because that one's allows a little bit of wriggle room. This one is, I think that's just glued on really well. Ball hinges in the elbows. Good range of movement. Ball hinges in the wrists. Both hands having the up and down wrist joint there, and the swivel as well. A joint in the torso. Good range of movement there. Again, we spoke about the barbell hips, which is a nice improvement over the ball hinge. But the swivels at the top of the thighs, they're good. Ball hinge in the knees, getting a good range of, good angle of movement there. And like I mentioned earlier, the ball hinge in the ankles and the rocker joint, which is much better than the just sort of standard ball hinge, which goes up and down. And if they can get that to work with the peg holes, you're onto a winner. Often the peg hole gets disregarded for the ankle articulation or for foot articulation, but in this one it works both ways. So here's another Mandalorian. I hope the commandos are on their way. Maybe the Praetorian Guards, that'd be cool. We're getting IG-12 with Grogu coming out this year. So yeah, adding some more to the Mandalorian shelf, which is great. I think the next one I'll be looking for is the Bo-Katan with the updated shoulder pauldron. But yeah, there's not a huge update there, but I'll pick it up at some stage if I can get it for the right price. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Another nice addition to the shelf. We can almost army build Din Djarin. But no, it's a cool figure. It's always a good one to have. And you wouldn't mind trying to get this guy airborne, get some flame effects, and maybe some fishing wire. I can hang him from the shelf above, and have him sort of zooming around. Give a little bit of that empty space above all the figures some use. All right, folks, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Back soon for some more. Until then, may the force be with you always.